You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Almost. Major. Holy fucking shit, this is major!
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Almost Major, where we talk about the many major studios and the films they release. Today we would typically be talking about a mini major movie from a mini major studio, but it is our intermission episode, which means we get to talk about big budget movies, non-mini major movies, no baby ass movies. We're talking about Natural Born Killers from 1994 because it's my slumber party and I get to pick the movie. My name is Kevin Tudor. I'm here with Bryden Doyle.
Hey.
And we are talking about Natural Born Killers in 1994 before starting our next miniseries. Natural Born Killers released on August 26th, 1994 in 1,510 theaters and maxed out at 1,904 theaters, and it debuted at number 1 at the box office. Nominated for Best Director at the Golden Globes, but more importantly, nominated for Best On-Screen Duo and Best Kiss at the MTV Movie Awards. It did not win either of them, but oh god, I should have looked and see what would have won, but oh well.
Well, we don't need to be like.
We have the internet? Oh shit.
Okay, Best On-Screen Duo. The winners were Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves in Speed, and Best Kiss was Lauren Holly and Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber.
They kiss in that movie? Oh, and in his vision of how the date's gonna go, where he's like rich and shit. Okay, sure, but. Also, peak MTV, where it's just like, fuck it, you know who wins Best Kiss? Fucking Jim Carrey, dude. I remember one time he won an MTV Movie Award, and he showed up, and he had a full-ass beard, and, people were like, what happened to Jim Carrey? And then, Casey Affleck was doing a documentary about him or something, I don't know. But, budget of $34 million, opening weekend made $11.1 million in domestic and overall gross of $50.2 million. Top 5 films that weekend: Natural Born Killers, Forrest Gump, Natural Born Killers, a trillion times better than Forrest Gump, Clear and Present Danger, The Mask, and Karina. But also, wow, just a top 5 of, remember movies that existed? What's the top 5 from this weekend?
I did not know that The Mask was in the top 5. We were talking about Jim Carrey 2 seconds ago. Also, were a lot of those holdovers from previous weeks? Because you talking about, I saw that this is an August movie, but I did not know it was August 26th, which I feel is late August is kind of the doldrums, like just before Labor Day weekend, which is maybe it was just a pretty crappy time to release movies, even today and everything. That's just funny to think about where maybe studios trying to dump this movie. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, but Forrest Gump, I believe it was in its 8th week, so I assumed that it was 7 weeks at number 1, and then this is the time it's just then its 8th week that bumps down to number 2.
Yeah. And now it'd be whatever, just put it on fucking Netflix or whatever.
Let's bury this shit. Who wants a 3-hour movie about Marilyn Monroe? Put that shit on Netflix, who cares? Number 1 song in the US this week is I'll Make Love to You by Boyz II Men, which was number 1 for 14 weeks straight. People were fucking back in 94. Number 1 song in Canada this week is Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Elton John. People were fucking in 94. Plot description from Google. Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis are 2 young, attractive serial killers who become tabloid TV darlings thanks to the sensationalistic press led by Robert Downey Jr. They're playing characters, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's they were going through a bit of a rough patch, all 3 of them back then, but now they're okay.
The press reports the pair as they go on a 52-person killing spree, a controversial look at the way the media portrays criminals. This sounds like AI. Speaking of AI, I need to make a list of movies that are not AI, but they look AI. Like that Street Fighter movie, that looks like it was made by fucking AI.
Oh, I still haven't watched that trailer. It's the Bad Trip director, though, so that's an interesting choice.
It's the thing where it's the entire trailer is just here's those AI things. It's what if The Simpsons was real? And it's just a person being such and such as Homer Simpson, and they're just standing there. That's the entire trailer. It's just person, guy from movie and game. Wow.
Well, the weird thing, too, is there's that movie that comes out next month with Chris Pratt, Mercy, which is about, the AI judge. and then I saw, the director, Timur Bekmambetov, was, talking about how, he wanted to, use AI for other things. And I'm, saying, bro, what's your movie about?
It's like James Cameron in 91 being I don't know, Skynet probably makes some good, staplers and shit. We should keep them around. Where am I at? Originally written by Quentin Tarantino, the film version has his name distincted as only story by, and the writers are credited to David Valos, who co-wrote Permanent Midnight in 1998, listen to our episode, and Richard Rutowski, his only writing credit, and Oliver Stone. I believe in the book that I've not finished, but I'm on my way, Killing Instinct by Jane Hampshire, who is a producer for Natural Born Killers, said when she met him that he believed in the thing of if you ask 100 women to have sex with you, 99 will say no, but one will say yes. And she said, I'm very sorry that I'm the 99%. Yeah. And like the first time meeting her, it was just like, so me and Oliver Stone, we believe in like tantric sex. And she was like, no, don't care, man.
Goodness, I mean, I like a lot of his movies, but he sounds like such a fucking tool. I mean,
He sounds like so far. They haven't even like started production. I still have like 80 pages left, but even she was just like, yeah, he seems like a tool before she meets him. And it's just like also like his women in his movies are terrible. And I was like, he has women in his movies at that point, but she said like after meeting him, it's just like, yeah, he seems fine, like honestly, but who knows after going through the production of fucking Natural Born Killers, what she thinks. But that was just one of those books that if people don't know that, like, you go on eBay and just look up any book, you can get pretty much any damn book shipped for like $4. And that was one of those that like is an ex-library rental that's just like, yeah, it's $4, who cares. Where am I at? Oh, directed by, speaking of, Oliver Stone. Prior to this, Seizure in 1974, The Hand in 1981, Salvador and Platoon in 1986. Fucking Platoon. Wall Street in 1987, Talk Radio in 1988. I would say that Talk Radio is the proto Natural Born Killers, kind of. Just like a little bit, where like at the end of it, it's just like, oh, you say that I'm bad? Well, you're listening to it. Makes you think. Which we'll get into that. Born on the 4th of July, 1989. That is an insane fucking 80s run. Like, yeah. I'm not saying all of those are bangers, but all of those are like big movies besides like Talk Radio. And
The Hand, I guess, which I feel like is like kind of, people see that as like, that I've heard is like more of a straight up just genre movie. Which yeah, I'm curious to see that one. Yeah, like a lot of his other movies, like even if like they do have like genre aspects or like, you know, and are super like cranked up, it's like they have like things on their mind. Yeah.
Sometimes literally one thing that they kind of run into the ground, but everything else is so dope that I just like, yeah, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
Born on the 4th of July, I did watch for the first time. Not exactly my type of movie. One, war movie. Two, just like that type of movie. But I mean, Cruise fucking rules in it. Yeah, so good. Especially the dinner table when their fucking brothers just like starts talking shit about him being in Vietnam and he goes off on him. So good.
I can't believe he just said that to me. And then when he comes home drunk and he's screaming about penis, big fucking erect penis.
Who plays his mom? That's
I don't remember the mom. The dad is Raymond J. Barry, the dad from Walk Hard.
The Doors and JFK in 1991. That is unfucking believable. Like, that would be something where it's just like, yeah, I'm taking 8 years off, and they'd be like, that's fine, Oliver, we understand. No. Heaven and Earth in 1993, and then this movie the year after that, and after that, Nixon in 1995, which the director's cut version of that is 3.5 hours. Like,
was he just not sleeping? Like, it's like, wow. Yeah.
Well, they said in the Jane Hampshire said that when they first met him, that he was just like, yeah, I would like to do Natural Born Killers, and I want it to be one of my next, like, 5 movies. And her other business partner, Don Murphy, was just like, no, we're only giving it to you if you make it your next movie. And he was like, oh, okay. But said literally as soon as he got off a plane from filming Heaven and Earth, they started scouting shit, like, for Natural Born Killers as soon as he came back. Like, just did not stop. Like,
wow.
Insane. Nixon in 1995, U-Turn in 1997. Bryden saw this. How is U-Turn?
It's a lot. I mean, it's one of those movies. I feel like you could say this about all Oliver Stone movies, where like I feel like I can see why people would like absolutely just like hate it. Where like the style is like so in your face and the characters are so repellent, and also it's like kind of just like sort of like with Natural Born Killers, like where it is like kind of just hammering the same points over and over again. Whereas like, you know, U-Turn's just like guy gets stuck in a town and the universe just keeps fucking with him. But I found it like funny in sort of like that darkly amusing way where it's like, you know, he gets like a bus ticket out of town, and like the guy who's coming after him, like Sean Penn, like, you know, gets a bus ticket out of town, sees the guy that's coming after him, gets arrested by the cops, and he's like doing well, and then he like takes a drink from a Coke, and then Joaquin Phoenix like hits him in the back of the head and breaks the Coke bottle, and it's just and eats his bus ticket, and it's just like the movie just finding like all these absurd ways, like where it's just like, this guy is just like fucked from the beginning, and like the people like everything he does just like makes things worse, and I found it funny on that level. Even though there's definitely some icky stuff for sure in that movie. Yeah,
give me that. Also, the J-Lo John Voight movie from 1997 that I haven't seen is U-Turn. Yeah,
where they both play part indigenous characters. Not the best casting decision, I would say.
Well, what nationality is John Voight in Anaconda? Because I still don't know.
What is it supposed to be? Is he Peruvian?
Yeah, I think he's like Peruvian plus. Yeah, I do not know. It's like, also he's like Tony Montana at parts. I don't know. What a great performance. Speaking of John Voight, also Any Given Sunday in 1999.
Paraguayan. He's Paraguayan in Anaconda. I had to look up Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Oh no, he does say that. He goes, "Where are you from, Cerrone?" He goes, "Paraguay." Yeah, which I don't even think his accent is Paraguaysian or whatever. It literally just doesn't make sense. Great feature film. Hopefully nobody makes a comedy that's the same name that comes out on Christmas Day about that. Alexander in 2004. Has he finally? When was the last time that he re-edited Alexander? I think we're overdue for another one. Because I think the third one was the final cut, like 5 years ago. World Trade Center in 2006. I don't know why at like age 14 I was like, I want to watch that. W in 2008. Wow. Wall Street Money Never Sleeps 2010. Savages 2012 and Snowden 2016. Hasn't made a narrative movie since then, but has put out 2 JFK documentaries in 2021 and a Putin docuseries in 2016.
Great.
Yay. I'll watch both of those when I subscribe to Showtime Now or whatever.
I mean, it's also funny talking about like those movies, like a lot of them, like, I mean, I don't know how Alexander is, and I guess I'll never find out because I'm not watching that, but like I'd say like of like his 21st century output, it seems like Savages is probably like the closest one that gets to like the Natural Born Killers energy, where it's just like super overheated and over violent and like hypersexual and everything, and everyone's evil in it. Whereas like, you know, Snowden is like, you know, just like the most he gets like to sort of being like extra, and that is like
just a little guy that had glasses.
Yeah, and it's like,
the whole
I don't
movie.
know, just put some techno music over this, you know, coding montage, and maybe Reese Davis has like a big head on the screen, and that's really the closest that movie gets to sort of the out there stylishness of his early works.
Yeah, if it's 21st century stuff that I would watch, I guess it's Savages. So I'm
Yeah,
not watching Alexander. I've already seen World Trade Center. I've already seen W. Wall Street Money Never Sleeps. I don't care. And Snowden is just like, I guess I would watch it. I don't know.
Yeah, and Savages I didn't even love as a teenager. I'm not sure how I feel about it now, but
No,
like,
all I've heard is it sucks. It's like, I always get it mixed up with oh my God, another movie similar to that time from like 2011 called like The Nobodies, or
is it like a cartel movie like Savages?
Yes. Or maybe like, I don't know, it gives me like Savages mixed with like Smoking Aces vibes. I can't think of it.
It's a great combination.
The poster is them like all looking downwards. It's like a big cast, you know what I mean?
Oh, The Losers?
The Losers!
Wow. Jeez. That one was PG-13, so not as like quite as up there as like those other movies. But yeah, that's a movie I loved when I was a kid, and then I bought the Blu-ray for like at a discount from like Bay Street Video, and like made my parents watch it with me. And in like 10 minutes, and I was like, oh no. Yeah. Jeez.
Wow, yeah, from Sylvain White, director of Slender Man and the direct-to-video I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, of course.
Yeah,
I've seen Slender Man, bad movie. Starring Woody Harrelson as Mickey. I did not do prior to this and after this, but I'll go through this after. But Juliette Lewis as Mallory, Robert Downey Jr. as Wayne Gale, Tommy Lee Jones as Dwight Mikulski, and Tom Sizemore as himself, or Jack Scagnetti. Tom Sizemore in this is It's insane.
Starts out creepy and gets worse with every scene. Like his introductory scene is like, oh, look at that ass print on that the car and everything, and then like next scene, it's just like full blown murder. Like next scene, it's
also starring Roddy Dangerfield, Edie McClurg, Lanny Flaherty, shout out to the sheriff from Blair Witch 2. Evan Handler pops up for a bit. Jared Harris, Balthazar Getty, Russell Means, and Stephen Wright. Oh, and Arliss Howard, the unnamed prisoner that helps Mallory and Mickey. And what is it? He's like, it's good to be with you, Wayne Gale. You do a lot of good for people.
And then when like he's going through the tunnels, he's like, oh, this is just where I come to think sometimes.
He also appears at the diner at the beginning. He's the guy who disappears.
Yes, I was wondering about that too. That was so weird. I was like thinking, like, because like I saw, oh, Arliss Howard, and then he pops up at the prison. I'm like, is he like, what was that? Did I like not? Was
like
I wrong to like think that was
guardian
him?
angel type thing? That's what at least Oliver Stone said. And also, have you seen the alternate ending?
No. What's the alternate ending?
The alternate ending is I think they kill Wayne Gill in the prison, but then Arliss Howard goes with them in their van that you see during the end credits, and kills both of them.
Oh wow!
And then it ends with the credits that are already there. So,
I guess mine is like the sort of trippy like RV family thing. That's weird. Yeah, I mean, because like it's weird. Arliss Howard is with them, and like he doesn't die in the prison or anything. But then like when they just get out into the woods, it's like, oh yeah, like it's me and Wayne Gale and like the other guard who was with us like got killed and everything. And Arliss Howard, I guess, maybe he just like fucked off somewhere else. Like it's
trivia. Strap in. This is half of the pod. During filming, Juliette Lewis actually broke Tom Sizemore's nose when she slammed his face into the wall during the prison scene. This somehow only took 56 days to shoot. Yeah, man. Coca-Cola approved the use of the polar bear ads for its product in the movie without having a full idea what the movie was about. You all are stupid. When the board of directors saw the finished products, they were furious. Also, you approved the use of the ads for the feature film titled Natural Born Killers, and then you were upset when the feature film Natural Born Killers came out and it had killing. Like, were they just like, hey, can we use your ads for the newest Oliver Stone movie? Which even then I'd be like, no. It's not like, hey, can we use your ads for the new Paul Feig movie? It's like, oh, sure. Anyways, Oliver Stone has always maintained that the film is a satire on how serial killers are adored by the media for their horrific actions, and that those who claim the violence in the film itself is a cause of social violence has missed the point of the movie entirely, which, sure, but also it shows them as cool, and it's a snake eating its tail over and over because the movie is about them being portrayed this way, but then people have watched the movie and they have wanted to recreate it, thus proving the movie's right, but
yeah, and it's the thing of like, but then like it's the thing of you don't want to like criticize a movie for people like misinterpreting the movie or something like that.
I'm not.
Like I know that was like Ebert's critique about like Fight Club of like, you know, are people going to go out and imitate this or whatever. I think like that was like one of his things, and it's just like, okay, you can't hold like the film responsible for necessarily like what people are going to go out to do and everything because people are. Because of like stupid filmmakers or whatever, or stupid film audiences, I guess.
And that's how we get today, where everybody announces like, "Hey, you're bad. Don't do that." Like, sorry, like if you're dumb and watch a movie just because the film director doesn't come out and be like, "You believe this guy?" You're like, "Really? Yeah. This guy sucks."
And also, like, if violent movies made people violent, then how come like we're not all dead? Like if that's like
but yeah, if you don't know, which I'm not a true crime person, but the Columbine massacre is something that has always fascinated me because I was very young when it happened, and they talked about the massacre as going in BK. So
right.
Yeah, and both of them dressed up as basically as Woody Harrelson in the diner scene at the start with the white t-shirt and the gun belts all around him. So, yeah. The best trivia fact of all time, 18 different film formats are seen in the finished movie. Fuck yes, dude. Yes.
Yeah, I think I saw like there was like special credits for like the Super 8 like film stock people, which it's a lot. And there's like animation too. Like it's wild, man.
This is the best movie ever. Trent Reznor watched the movie over 15 times to get into the mood for mixing and producing the soundtrack. What a man. And apparently him and Oliver Stone wanted Snoop Dogg involved in the soundtrack, but Warner Brothers wouldn't allow it as he was on trial for murder at the time. Although a track from Dr. Dre's The Chronic does appear near the start of the prison riot. But yeah, something I can never have being needle dropped 3 fucking times, a Warren Place getting needle dropped, and then finally the new 4K finally has Burned by 9 Inch Nails being needle dropped before the credits, which was absent in almost all the home video releases until now.
Yeah, despite that's like what it was written for, and like it on like even on Spotify, I will say like Burn from the Natural Born Killers soundtrack, and it's like
it's never heard of it until now. Yeah, it's like the best song ever. I don't know if you knew this, but growing up, the director's cut was not put out by Warner Brothers. It was put out by Trimark on DVD and VHS back in the day. So like you would watch it, and it wouldn't have the Warner Brothers logo at the start whatsoever. Because Warner Brothers would not allow, they would not put out unrated movies. So they were like, no, we're not putting it out. I don't know how the contracts for all that type of shit works, where it's just like, yeah, you can have it, but it can't be our name on it, but we have to get paid for it since it is our movie, Trimark. I don't know. The cover for the unrated DVD back in the day, that's like my favorite shit ever. That's so much better than just Woody Harrelson with red sunglasses, but
where like, and he's got kind of like a white, where he's like all
yes.
like lit in black and white, and there's the paint card.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, fucking awesome. Yeah,
the director's cut one is what they initially directed me to, where it's like them posing together, and like there's like red cartoons of them in the background. That one doesn't look quite as good, but yeah,
no.
Okay,
yeah,
very psychedelic. The one with interesting. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're fine. The prison riot was filmed at the Stateville Correctional Center in Joliet, Illinois. 80% of the prisoners there were incarcerated for violent crimes. For the first 2 of 4 weeks on location, the extras were actual inmates with rubber weapons. For the other 2 weeks, over 200 extras had to be brought in because the penitentiary was placed on lockdown. No, don't do that. I mean, that is insane that you're watching. They're just like, oh yeah, all you people that are here for like murdering people and whatnot, let's pretend to have a riot. Yeah, okay. Like, I'm surprised nobody got like fucking killed. And yeah, unbelievable vibes in the second half. There's no wonder that the MPAA was just like, we don't know how to give you an R rating, just because the whole vibe of the second half is just like, no. My worst trivia fact of all time, over 150 rattlesnakes, real and fake, were used in the desert scene. They did shoot it at night where the snakes were sluggish and or asleep, as they are cold-blooded. Couldn't pay me to be there. Don't care, like, whatsoever. Nope, not even if they were just like 5 miles away, there's one rattlesnake, I'd be like, let's leave. But no, fuck no. Mm-mm.
Yeah. You're like saying like, you're like on an all-night drive, you're like, I need to like stop it like, to get something at the pharmacy. And you see it's like the big drugstore with like the giant snake in the top. It's like, nope, keep on driving.
God, I just want to get high and go to that place. The green light. Oh my God. Apparently they put in 1,000 green lights in that place. Just unbelievable vibes. What if we kissed in the overly green Natural Born Killers pharmacy? This film contains almost 3,000 cuts. Most films have 600 or 700. Negative cutter Doan Bassett cut 4,000 negative images into the film, the most complex job ever undertaken by a negative cutter. Editing took 11 months. Yes. Insane. It took, barely 2 months to shoot it. It took 11 months to edit. That would be like the most stressful time of my life, but also the best shit ever to be able to edit that.
Yeah.
Director of photography Robert Richardson hated the script, called shooting the movie a nightmare and one of the worst experiences of his life. The story brought up bad memories from his childhood, leading to insomnia and a dependent on sleeping pills. His wife nearly died from an illness during the shoot, and they almost divorced because of his involvement in the movie at the time. He broke his finger during a shot, injured his face during another, and his replacement after that also got injured. However, Richardson has said that all of these problems actually provided him with the creative energy he needed to shoot the film. And I just watched a new interview on the 4K disc, and he seems much more positive about it looking back. He also said that he loved the script in this new clip, so I don't know who to believe. In March 1995, 2 18-year-olds dropped acid and watched this movie, and then later shot and paralyzed a store clerk who ended up suing Oliver Stone and Warner Brothers with the help of John Grisham because a friend of another person that they shot and killed. The case was thrown out in 2001. Insane. During filming, Oliver Stone would play African tribal music at full blast on the set as a way to keep in a frantic mood. I want to die. That would be insane, dude. Robert Downey Jr. spent time with Australian television shock king Steve Dunleavy to prepare for the role of Wayne Gale, and when he came back with an Australian accent, the filmmakers just decided to go with it, and Gale became an Australian. This might be his best performance. I don't give a shit.
He's very funny in this.
He's so good. He's like, why don't we cut the crap? We understand. Yeah, he's so good.
When he's like saying that like Mickey like beat all the ratings for like the other serial killer coverage, and then like Harrelson's like, oh, Manson, and then like he sort of like stretches his face like, Manson beat ya.
Oh, wow. What is he, after he says that he's a natural born killer and they go to commercial and he hugs him, he's like, that was just seen by every moron in America. Thank you so much. Oliver Stone met with singer Tori Amos and openly offered her the part of Mallory. She was interested until he explained he also wanted to have her song Me and a Gun played during each scene where Mallory kills somebody. The song is an a cappella account of her real-life assault. In response, Amos slapped him across the face and stormed out. She detailed this story in her autobiography all these years. She also referenced this incident in her hit song A Sword of Fairy Life with the lyrics, feel better with Oliver Stone until I almost smacked him, it seemed to right that night. All right, man. What are you doing?
I mean, that's a wild story. Oliver Stone, not the most chill guy. Don't know that. I mean, I don't know. Some of the stories where people are talking shit about him, and like, you know, it's like, yeah, I get it. He sounds annoying, but I like his movies for the most part.
Yeah, he's got to be like one of the most like not dude bro, but just like masculine directors. Like,
well, Matt Seitz, who wrote the book about Oliver Stone, the Oliver Stone Experience, I remember on like a podcast, he was talking about Born on the 4th of July. It might have been film starring or cinephiliacs, but he like recalled like going to a dinner with Oliver Stone where Oliver Stone, I don't remember what the context was, but Oliver Stone just started yelling at someone, eat your words, motherfucker! And I'm just like, goodness, that just sounds like the worst experience ever. I would not want to be at that dinner. It'd be so uncomfortable.
God. Yeah. You're just sitting there being like, he made a U-turn, he made a U-turn, he made a U-turn, just, it's fine. Steve Buscemi and Tim Roth were both offered the role of Wayne Gale, but turned it down. Jane Hampshire claimed in her book about the movie that they did so because Quentin Tarantino told him he would never cast them in any of his movies if they took the role. Tarantino also hated the final version of the movie until meeting Johnny Cash in an elevator where Johnny Cash said he loved it. That sounds fake. That sounds fake.
Yes, that does sound fake, especially because I think, Stone talks about how, like, it was Far Out Magazine. We're talking about this in 2023, the 30-year feud between Oliver Stone and Quentin Tarantino, where, like, Stone, years later, says, I don't think it's right in our filmmaking culture for filmmakers to trash other filmmakers. We take so much from press, especially if you're established, that it's mean-spirited. I never went out with a hatchet for the director because I understand the nature of the medium, which is the director's call. And then it says, Tarantino's hatred, though, particularly towards natural-born killers, remained undiminished. His loathing was such that he proclaimed, I hated that fucking movie. If you like my stuff, don't watch that movie. So it's just funny. I just think it's funny that Stone is like saying, like, oh, like, I think I've softened a little bit. And Tarantino's like, no, fuck you. And then, well, there's also funny, too. There's a Roger Ebert interview from, like, I think when the movie was coming out. And Stone says something like, Quentin hasn't seen the movie, so who knows what he'll say. And then, like, and I'm thinking, you're about to find out.
Goodness. What else? Oh, a few other things that I picked up from the book. So, actually didn't put this in the notes, but I will quickly. One of the producers, his name is, I have it right here. Why is the cast so fucking long? Hold on. His name is Rand Vossler. Okay. One of the producers. He was originally signed on to direct it. Tarantino was just like, here's the script. You have the option to direct it. He's never directed anything. He worked with Tarantino at the video store back in the day that Tarantino worked at. But the thing that eventually was revealed was that Tarantino gave him the script and was like, he's never going to make it. And then the option will come back to me. But then he actually did get involved with Jane Hampshire and the other guy, Don Murphy. And when he did that, Tarantino was like, oh, that's, no. He wasn't actually supposed to make it. I just gave that to him to be, like, nice. And then what they did was eventually they were just like, okay, well, you're a first-time director. Both of the producers like, you're a first-time director, so we're going to sign you on for this. But if we see that you're not ready for this or we want to go with somebody more experienced in the contract, we can fire you and that's fine. He's like, yeah, that's fine. And then when they realize, Jane has a thing in the book where she first sat down with him for like 3 hours and was just like, so for like this scene and this scene, what were you thinking? And his reply to every single question was, I haven't thought about that. I'm gonna let you know later about that. And it was the basic thing of like, how do you want to shoot? And he was like, haven't thought about that, but I'll get back to you on that. And so then when they fired him, he tried to sue them, and it was the kind of thing where it's like they basically had to just settle. They couldn't do any fucking thing about it.
Well, they also tried to sue him when he tried to have the screenplay published, like as like a paperback.
Damn.
Or wait, hang on. I'm looking this up. It was, the transformation. This was the far out thing. It says the transformation was so extensive that Tarantino later attempted to release his original script as a paperback, which led to a lawsuit by the film's producers. Which didn't he try to do that with Hateful Eight, where like when that script got leaked, didn't he release it? Wasn't there some weird thing about that script getting re-released and then he was like, maybe
it got
just
leaked, and then I think he said he was gonna like, I'm not gonna make the movie, I'll just put it out as a book, and then eventually didn't make it.
Gotcha.
I think so.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And that entire time I'm talking about Rand, I'm not talking about Tarantino, but
okay, gotcha.
And then
it was okay, yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Yes. And then once they dropped him, at this point, Tarantino was still cool with them. Apparently, they discussed everything with him and whatnot. Around that point, I forget how it came to be, but they were just like, how about Albert Magnoli, the director of Purple Rain? And they sat down with him and everything and signed off on him, and Tarantino said that would be good. I forgot how he dropped out, but I was just like, are y'all fucking serious? So that was the thing that I was like, I never heard that. That is insanity, because from Purple Rain to National Born Killers, he made one movie in between that like does not exist and bombed like a motherfucker. So I don't know how they came to that. Another interesting thing was that Oliver Stone originally wanted Michael Madsen as Mickey, but Warner Brothers said they would only give him $10 million of the budget for that case. And then Oliver Stone basically casted the movie himself, and the producers were just like, hey, what are we here for? Because it's kind of, that we would like to be able, but he signed on Woody Harrelson himself, Juliette Lewis himself, believe Robert Downey Jr. himself, where he just called him and he was just like, hey, you want to be in the movie? He's like, that sounds chill. Very, very interesting production of this movie.
Mickey and Mallory. Feared by thousands.
I love you so much, baby.
I love you.
Watched by millions.
We're fading. Can't stop fading. Nobody can. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone or something.
Woody Harrelson, Juliette Lewis, Robert Downey Jr., and Tommy Lee Jones.
What do you have to say to your fans?
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Natural born killers. In the media circus of life, they were the main attraction.
Initial thoughts, Bryden, first time watch. Gotta hear what you have to say.
Yeah, so I think I think my first exposure to this movie was hearing about it in this is so weird. This is like such a weird esoteric bit of thing. But like I read this book when I was a kid called He Rents, She Rents by Richard Roper and Laurie Vieira, where it's like such a fucking like hack 90s thing now, where it's like, these are like guy movie recommendations versus like girl movie recommendations.
Hell yeah.
And Richard Roper had a list, I think, where he was talking about like iconic kill scenes, something like that in movies, and he mentioned Natural Born Killers, where in the director's cut, I think it was like Tommy Lee Jones gets like his head put on a stick, and in the deleted scene, Ashley Judd gets like stabbed with a pencil, and I was just like, goodness, when I'm like reading this like at 10 years old or whatever.
Yeah,
and
get
then,
in the man cave to watch this. No chicks allowed. Yeah.
And then I as a kid like who like watched like old Siskel and Ebert clips and like read Roger, I had like a book of like Roger Ebert's like 4-star movie reviews. I know he was like a big champion of this movie. I think one of the lines is like that, like he's seen the movie twice. Like, you know, you see it the first time like for the energy, and like the second time for like the meaning. of it.
All right, man, you ain't gotta watch it twice to get the meaning.
Wait, hang on. I'll actually find the quote right here. It's
back then maybe, but you watch it now and like, I'll get into it in my initial thoughts. But
yeah, it was seeing this movie once is not enough. The first time is for the visceral experience. The second time is for the meaning. And I'm like, okay.
Sure.
And then I think I'd seen like, I had seen like certain scenes like on YouTube, like the scene where like Robert Downey Jr. finds out he's about to get killed, and he's like, wait, cut.
So fucking, that scene is so good.
But I hadn't seen it for years, and then I think when you announced sort of in our group chat that like you wanted to do this intermission thing, I held off on watching it for a while because I was just like, okay, I want to like save this for when we watch it. Also wanted to make sure I was watching the version that had "Burn" by Nine Inch Nails, because I think you were talking that song up and I listened to it. It's like, the song rocks. Definitely want to hear it in this movie.
Which is funny. I finally watched it and I was like, oh, it's in there for 10 seconds.
Yeah, but still, like, it's better than like the one on like my DVD where like if you like fast forward to the end of it, like, and watch the end, it's like it cuts like it's just like generic like furious drumming music. I'm like, that's fine. It's not as good as
intense. If I remember correctly, even in the director's cut, they cut out a bit of that because they were just like, just stop.
Yeah,
too much.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I watched this on Criterion Channel, which my computer was in the shop for a little bit, so I downloaded the Criterion Channel app onto like my family's like TV and everything. Felt a little bit bad because my brother had his girlfriend over, and I was just like blasting this movie at like top volume and everything. Just like, sorry guys.
You just hear from upstairs, something I can never have gets needle dropped again. You're like, come down here. I'm telling you.
I like this movie. I think it's like a movie that I'm sort of alternating between. I feel like it's maybe like I cooled a little bit on it in the week or so since I last watched it. I think because there's like a few things that I think I think it is maybe me like doing the question of like, what is this movie actually like all that like complex and like what it's about and everything. Especially because I think it does. It's the thing where like the movie is like throwing a lot of style at you, but also like stating its themes like explicitly in the dialogue.
You gotta watch it twice. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, it's 1000% style over substance, like, and I don't care.
Yeah, but it is interesting how like he does find like, because if this movie was like just like people like saying the points of the script and everything, like, and it wasn't like directed like this, I'd probably find it like annoying as hell. It's the interesting thing of like thinking about like yeah, I mean, yes, I think the movie it's like well, these guys are bad, but also like everyone else is bad around them and everything like that's like covering them, and you're just like, okay, great. But like I do think there is like the sort of the nutshell of the movie for me is like in that ending montage that we talk about, where it's like something I can never have playing over like them walking away and like all the footage of like the terrible stuff that's going on TV and the channel surfing where no one's really like, it seems like it kind of gives the perspective of like all this suffering on display that no one's really giving any attention to, and with the lyrics of like the Trent Reznor singing about like all the suffering that he's feeling, and then like it cuts to like a guy who's like says, I think like he gets like 2 lines into his head, he's like, can we have, and then like it cuts to, I'm gonna burn this world down, and like screaming, and just like, and it's like that kind of like to me like is the nutshell of the movie, where it's like there's sort of 2 responses to living in this world that like is just presented as like corrupt and terrible, where it's like people who are just like they give in to despair, and then other people like just lash out in like violence, and even if they don't really have like, and it's like people who are like committing violence and like it doesn't really seem to have much of a meaning. I mean, like Woody Harrelson, like when he's killing Robert Downey Jr. at the end, he says like, killing you is a symbol. Now I'm not 100% sure what is a symbol for, but and it's like the thing of like,
I love so much. I love that, but the second half is where like I'm just like, guys, I got it. Like, you don't have to keep hammering like the numerous cutaways to like old timey footage of like a family watching a TV with the footage of it superimposed on the like, I got it, dude. Quit it. Stop. Like that. Yeah. Sorry.
No. It is the thing where like, and I think also because like the movie is just like pedal to the metal from like minute 1, and it's like it's one of his shorter movies. I guess I mean like Any Given Sunday is like over 2.5 hours long and everything, and it's like you get to the end of it, you're just kind of like, that was like a lot and everything. And it's sometimes like the thing I think like the stylistic excess, which I like on just sort of like an energy level. It sometimes like is the thing where like I'm thinking, well, I really enjoyed watching that, but like I'm also thinking, what was the meaning of this? Or like, and like not even like thinking about like, is there like, it's not like, again, like they state it so directly and everything, like you get it and everything, but then like it is the thing of like thinking like how much of it is actually like is there to sort of like latch on to. The movie isn't like just like cranked up in like the terms of like how it's visually presented, but also like the performances all feel like really cartoonish, I would say. Like especially like the supporting
Tommy
performances,
Lee
like
fucking Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, Robert Downey Jr., Rodney Dangerfield, and all that. Like it's the kind of thing, and it's the thing of like Oliver Stone. I mean, I didn't watch like the full scene of like the deleted scene of like the Ashley Judd courtroom scene and everything, where he's like Harrelson seems to be like callously like interrogating her and stuff like that, and kills her in front of a bunch of people. But like Stone said, oh, I didn't want to include that scene in the movie because like it interrupted the flow of the movie, where it comes after like the Russell Means scene where like they seem to feel really bad about killing the guy. And I think that's sort of where I'm like not quite sold on this as like a movie about these actual people and everything. Like I know Stone is really interested in that, saying like the Tarantino script was like really kind of an exploitation movie where it was just like kind of like Bonnie and Clyde sort of style stuff. And then he was like, I want to like look at the whole justice system and like what makes these killers, like where they come from. And I'm thinking it kind of does that. I don't quite buy these characters as real people. I would say I buy Lewis more. She seems like there's like all of her stuff is coming from like a genuine emotional place, especially like, whenever she's like lashing out like in the desert when she's like, you're not my fucking lover, you're not my fucking lover. Like the way she just like keeps repeating certain phrases with more and more ferocity. Whereas like Harrelson kind of seems like spaced out for a lot of the movie, and I like Harrelson in that mode and everything.
Oh,
he seems
so
like a little
fucking good in this, but yeah, his entire thing was just like he had a childhood, just so you know, and I'm like,
yeah,
all right, I got that.
And then like Robert Downey Jr. is just like going full ham and everything. Like he's such a cartoon, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, but it is like just the kind of thing where I'm like, I'm not entirely buying like that. There's like a ton of depth like to the characters and everything, which. Maybe that would, and like it's the kind of thing where the subject matter, especially at the start of the movie when you're learning the backstory of Lewis's character, is like so deeply upsetting and everything that like it kind of like, I think maybe if you did maybe give more complexity to that, or like more, I don't know if I want this movie to be more realistic and everything, but like it would maybe make the movie like unwatchably horrific and everything. But it's the thing of like, I don't know. That's just sort of my thing that maybe is like why it maybe doesn't quite get under my skin as maybe as I would have expected it to. Especially like thinking like several days removed from coming off the high of like sort of the energy of like the style and everything, thinking about just sort of like what's in it. Am I making any sense here? Like it's just yeah.
It's the thing of like it's doing so much, but is it actually doing anything? Which is what I love about it, is that it thinks that it's saying a lot when it's not, which is like makes it just peak 90s, where it's just like it's the equivalent of like somebody that thinks they're really deep, but all their conversations are just like, well, it all comes back to capitalism. It's just like, can we have an actual conversation? Because it's the thing of just like, well, you know who's worse than the serial killers? People that profit off serial killers. It's like, nah, I think serial killers do. But it's like, I get where it's coming from, but it's like, yeah, I'll let you finish. I have way too much to say.
And the thing is also that it does come down to the direction, where like I find this movie like, very formally dazzling and everything, and like it's the thing of like, and I feel like a lot of it is very intentional and everything, like even like, the intense like colors where it's like, alternating between red and blue, sort of making you think like, okay, what like emotional turn is the scene gonna take and everything, where like they're like super lovey-dovey, and then it's like they could snap into murder at like the next moment and everything. It's and all like those Dutch angles too, like, sort of like showing like the power of like who has the scene and just like things shifting, spiraling out of control. Love all that. And now, like, I was thinking about like movies that like, I'm like, I don't see movies that look like this in multiplexes now. Or at least I can't think of any. And if there are movies that are like, at least, I think I'm harping on like the look of it, as opposed to like movies that are trying to be about similar things. And the movie that came to mind was Todd Phillips' Joker, which sucks and is like 1,000 times less interesting to look at, not as fun to watch. Like that movie's like about like that movie's also about a disturbed character, but it's like no fun to watch. And it's just like, and it's also a thing of like hammering home the same points, and you're just like,
and also it sucks.
yeah, it's just like I like, so it's like I would much rather like I'm like, even in Natural Born Killers, if I'm like questioning the depth of its like material and themes and everything, I find that movie like to be more of a fun, more of an entertaining ride than some of the other movies that are
all about making you be like, this is what happens, so maybe, just saying, if you don't, people that are, you got it, you could better. Meanwhile, Natural Born Killers, it does do that, but at least it's fun to watch. If it was just that, like Joker, then I'm just like, please shut up, like shut up.
Yeah, and it's the thing that like I miss like in like some of Stone's later movies that I've seen, where it's just like there isn't that formal playfulness and everything, where I'm just like, oh man, like this is drab. Where's the energy, man? Like it's just like, yeah. So yeah, it's interesting to watch it like this. This was also just we'll segue into your thoughts in a minute. Was this your first Oliver Stone movie that you'd seen? Like, as like talking about like when you were like getting into movies, was this like your first one that you watched of his, or was it World Trade Center?
It was either this or JFK.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Which normal picks either way.
Yeah, I mean, mine was Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, which I wanted to see because it had Sympathy for the Devil in the trailer, and I was like, oh, this looks so good, and I dragged my dad to it. I was like, I'm bored. Anyway,
it had to have been either one of those. I assume it was this because probably like middle school me was looking up like top whatever most controversial movies and just being like, all right, got that and go watch that. Because I definitely remember being like, oh, gotta watch Clockwork Orange, gotta watch that. And then I definitely remember watching JFK through Netflix DVD rental. So it was either this or JFK. Because the next one I watched was probably like World Trade Center and then W, like when those came out. Right. Popular teenage boy watching World Trade Center.
I mean, yeah, me opening weekend of Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, me like, Dad, let's go see this.
When World Trade Center comes out, telling everybody, United 93, much better 9/11 movie. What was the ripoff United 93 movie that came out around that time? We watched it in class once. I was like, this sucks. Where's Peter Green? What's his? Who fucking did United 93? Paul Greengrass. I almost said Peter Greenaway. I mean, I love this at the... Did I... I'm also thinking, like, did I watch this before getting into Nine Inch Nails in 7th grade? Or was it afterward? It had to have been... I don't know. But, I mean, yeah, I loved it at the time because it's entirely my shit. And then at age 33, I'm just like, yeah, this is still entirely my shit. I've grown a lot. It's... Last time I watched it, I gave it like 2.5 stars because I was like... Every scene it starts and I'm like, this is the most made for me fucking movie. It goes from like 8mm to 16mm, black and white, color, animation, video, like, and then by the end of it, it's just like it has the same tired ass point that it keeps hammering in where I'm just like, shut up, please shut up. Like, but this time I was just like, I don't care. I'm just gonna try to push that out of the way and just watch it as a movie, and it's like one of the most fascinating movies to watch because it's impossible to look away. Like, it feels like a movie that if it was made now, I would understand because it is so just like short-term memory, like the movie. Like it's impossible. Like every cut is like 3 seconds, but every cut is intentional. It's not like the fence jumping scene from Taken 3 or something like that. Like it's like the most 90s movie, but not in the way that people always say like something is the most whatever because it's like the most loudly 90s movies. Like, no, it's the most 90s movie because in 94 this was seen as deep, and now it's like, are you serious?
And it's of the moment too. I mean, like Stone talks about how he wanted
fucking of the moment,
like where like it's like you have like footage of like O.J. Simpson and Tonya Harding and Lorena Bobbitt and the Menendez brothers and everything, like very like much covered cases at the time. Yeah.
And whenever they're caught at the pharmacy, they're beating up Mickey as if he's Rodney King. Like, it's all in there.
I did not even think about that. Jeez, though. That's wild. Yeah.
Because he wanted to basically... I watched some special feature where Oliver Stone was like, I wanted this to just be like a summer action movie. And then all that stuff started to happen in like 92, 93, and then that basically kind of coded what the movie was going to be. And we didn't get into it after my initial thoughts of the difference of, I don't know if there's that much to get into the differences between Tarantino's script and what we got, but it was like Robert Downey Jr.'s character was the main person, and it basically started like once they were already caught is what I assume. So it wasn't as much Bonnie and Clyde type movie, but it's the most like, it's the same reason that a movie like Fight Club, which is also a movie that dumb people have misinterpreted, but also is not, I forget who did the review that it's just like at the age of 12 to like 30, you go from like loving Fight Club, thinking it's bad, thinking it's misogynist, thinking it's actually it's like actual feminist, back to like men hating, back to like this is the greatest movie of all time. Like, but the thing is that Fight Club has a lot more on its mind, and it's actually does not get enough credit for what it's about, because people think it is all about men hating, and it's like, yes, but it's also whatever. It's very Gen X, the movie. I understand. This is also Gen X, the movie is the thing also. I think this is Juliette Lewis's like 1000% her best performance. Woody Harrelson, this is very much like he did not do anything like this before, because his movie prior to this was what, White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah.
So, and everybody involved was like, you're getting Woody Harrelson? Really? And then Oliver Stone said he met him and he said, I saw the violence in his eyes. He's perfect.
Well, I think he talks about this like this is like the thing that like I think like I occasionally forget is like Harrelson's dad like was like a hitman or something like that. Mm-hmm. So weird. So like, and then like when you're seeing like the pictures of like Harrelson himself as like a kid in the movie, you're just like, oh yeah, right. It's wild, man.
And also this movie is fucking hilarious. Like Tommy Lee Jones is just they like the mic all day had to be clipping just like how bad he is screeching every single line in the most hillbilly ass accent. It's so good. A few things that just I cannot stop thinking about since rewatching it was after they hang out with Russell Means and wakes up and Mickey shoots him and whatnot, and Mallory's just going into him, and she's like, he gave us life and you took it. And then Woody Harrelson goes, that is a harsh indictment, Mallory. Like, that's sticking with me. One line that has always stuck with me is just her beating the shit out of Tom Sizemore and be like, how sexy am I now, fucker? Hearing Oliver Stone talk about it behind the scenes, it's not exactly like he had a lot more that wasn't in the movie as far as what was on his brain. It's very much just like, yeah, and once like news corporations like became for profit, that's when it was the wild, wild west. I was like, I got that. There was another special feature that it looked like it was made probably when Warner Brothers put out the director's cut on Blu-ray in like 2009, and half of it is like modern day, like what if Natural Born Killers was like, they start talking about like Twitter and shit, and I was like, this is cringy. Because they had fucking Tila Tequila on this special feature. It was quite bad.
I mean, yeah, Matt Lynch, I think his Letterboxd review is like talking about how like the thing that this movie's about. I don't know if I have much perspective on this because it's like, you know, I feel like a lot of this is before my time, and like, you know, I've maybe only looked into some more recent things. But he says like this movie's not relevant anymore, not because like it's like because like the thing that it's criticizing got replaced by something much worse. I don't know if like you have any thoughts on that. If like that's the thing that you feel in terms of where this movie is now.
I mean, it got replaced by much worse. I mean, is he just talking about like the internet version of news versus like 24-hour news cycles that became a thing like in the 90s? But
I don't know.
I mean, sure, but it's all basically the same thing. It's just a little bit quicker. I mean, It does suck for sure. But I mean, even back then, like, which one person that they did bring up was, oh god, it's not John Bobbitt. It's Drew Barrymore played her in a made-for-TV movie in 1992.
Oh, Amy Fisher?
Yes, they talked about that, and my man Joey Buttafuoco, he was saying that he heard from somebody that was just like, that became a story because we had no other news that day. So it's like, yeah, people just make things to make news. Like, I understand that. It's the same thing where I'll be on some website and then I'll start going down a rabbit hole. Be like, wait. Why do I care about things that I don't care about and people that I don't care about? Why am I trying to get to the bottom of this? I'm just like, go away. What am I doing?
And also, I mean, there's also the thing of like, you hear about like, you know, people who are like, they have like a podcast or like a show, and you're just like, why is this person famous? Why do people know this guy's name? It's just like the other thing too, I guess, is like, it's interesting about like when there are high profile murder cases. I mean, this movie presents it like as if like just run of the mill people will be like, yeah, man, these guys are cool and everything. And I wonder if like that's like a thing. I don't really think that's a thing. I definitely not like these are like spree killers in the movie. I don't think like you get that, like not like wide, like sort of like out in the open, like that's like not a main. I mean, I guess in the movie this presents it as sort of like a countercultural or sort of like edgy thing. I don't think you get that now with like when there are like horrific murders happening now. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be glib about this, but like, I don't think like you're going on like the news and seeing people say like, yeah, man, this school shooter is cool and everything. Like, I don't think like,
Well,
I mean,
no, but there are definitely people that like idolize the Columbine killers,
right? But that's like maybe I guess that maybe
they're fringe corners.
That's what I was gonna say. They maybe and maybe on the internet there's like sort of like that they are doing that like on the fringe corners, like you said and everything. I mean, I guess like the when you do like when there is like high profile murder cases is like if there's like a political cause attached to it, do people maybe view it differently? I mean, like I'm not trying to make this too of the moment and everything, but like I'm thinking like a lot of people talking about like, and I'm not really passing judgment on this, but like the Luigi Mangione thing where like they're saying like people talking about like, well, it's like what's like the motive behind this and everything, like it's like I don't know, it's just interesting to think about and like what you do see online and all that stuff. It's I don't know.
I guess I would say that the closer thing would be ones that are not outright doing that, but like the true crime podcasts that are like really excited to talk about serial killers, but they're not saying like this person's cool, but they're just like the way that they talk about it is just like, oh, this is pretty fucking weird, man.
It does come in cycles, yeah, where it's like you do have like a lot of, yeah, like we're talking about like this movie's talking about the news coverage, then you have TV shows and like movies that are about that, and now you've got like the second wave of things of like people being like, well, now it's like people like interrogating what the cultural fascination was. It's like you're making stuff about the culture and everything. It's just like, okay, wow, it's a lot of you can go down rabbit holes about all this. I guess it's yeah. Anyway,
yeah, I'm really glad that I'm not a true crime podcast listener because boy howdy,
it does not seem like my thing.
No, which that's not. I listen to audiobooks that are pretty fucked up, but as far as like I'm not going down the rabbit hole and being like episode 13 of The Night Stalker. I'm just like, man, I got it. Like I went through that quote unquote fascination in middle school. But
yeah, the Netflix trailer dropped for like the Night Stalker miniseries, and it opened with like the trailer had like a slowed down cover of Cruel Summer, and I was like, get the fuck out of here! What are you doing?
Oh my god! Oh, that sucks. That's bad. Who's doing that? Is that Ryan Murphy too?
No, it wasn't. It was like a docuseries. Who did that? It was Tiller Russell and James Carroll. Tiller Russell's the guy who did that Silk Road movie, I think, which was like the narrative film, I think.
Silk Road about like the dark web?
Yeah. Silk Road, to be clear, it was a narrative movie where Nick Robinson plays the dread pirate guy and Jessica Clarke is like the FBI agent tracking him and then like trying to screw him over.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't do the documentary about that. Yeah.
When I think of the true crime podcast, it's literally just like, it's like serial killers which I get it, and I'm not one to really harp on it because the viewership is mostly women, and a lot of people harp on it because of that. It's just like, I could get it, but and it's not like as if I'm like, well, I listen to more important things. Like, no, you don't. But I just can't get into serial killer is not fascinating to me anymore because like I don't care, and it's never just like, what was his motivation? It was like, I don't know. It's usually one of three. Take your pick, man. I'm not interested. I don't care. Now, if it's a bunch of internet nerds trying to sell cocaine on Silk Road, yeah, I want to hear about those losers. Come on. That's a big difference.
Would you want to see? It's the interesting thing of like most of Tarantino's scripts are like directed by him, save for like From Dusk Till Dawn, which is like by Rodriguez, and then True Romance is Tony Scott, which I think True Romance was the other script that he sold like around the time of like Natural Born Killers.
Yes.
But it's like the thing of like, would you want to see a version of this movie that was like either directed by Tarantino or like at least was more faithful to the Tarantino script? I mean, I haven't read the Tarantino script. It looks like it's online. Like you can read it. I don't know if it's any good. Yeah. But like,
I know. Yeah. I think Oliver Stone made this a better movie. I think it all came from like all of like True Romance, Pulp Fiction, this movie, and I think Reservoir Dogs like all came from like a 400-page script that both him and Roger Avery did, and then they kind of sliced it up, and you can see that most of it does have similar aspects to other things. Natural Born Killers is a little bit harder to tell unless you've read the original script, but a lot of it does carry things over.
And there's a shared universe too. Like, doesn't like I think I remember like reading in some book that like it's like, oh, there's an Easter egg where like in Reservoir Dogs, doesn't like Michael Madsen say he has to go see his parole officer Scagnetti or something like that, and it's like, but yeah, sorry, I ran into what you're saying. Yeah.
I think Tony Scott did with True Romance a lot better than Tarantino could have done at that time, even though he was on the precipice of doing Pulp Fiction, but like True Romance is a very, very, I mean, but so was Pulp Fiction as far as a dense-ass script, but like he brings the Tony Scottness of it all, and it's just like, if around that time we would have got like 4 directed by Tarantino movies in like 2 years, I would have shot myself, even if I was like 15 whenever I saw Reservoir Dogs and thought it was the best shit ever. I rewatched it in July when I was a 32-year-old man and still thought it was the best shit ever, but too much. I think he was smart enough to sell those off. I don't know if it's because he didn't feel attached enough to direct it, don't really care, but it wouldn't have been this movie, and this movie, the reason I love it is because the Oliver Stone-ness of it all, the 3,000 cuts, all the different film formats. Tarantino was not going to fucking do that. But then we wouldn't have had the hammering home of the mass media being so bad type of thing, and it would have just been like 2 killers on the run, which is basically what True Romance is at the end of the day. So
I'm not really thinking about like the sort of like the cultural meaning of like his of Tarantino's movies. Like, I mean, it's interesting when like it says this is from Quentin Curtis's review. His name's Quentin. Maybe I had loyalty to him. No. Quentin Curtis talking about the script. It says Tarantino's script is much more disciplined. There are fewer styles of shooting, and each makes dramatic sense. Hold Up in a 7-Eleven store is shot throughout by a security camera, where Stone uses a stylistic kaleidoscope while also casting light on our culture of viewing. Yeah. And it's like, okay, that's an interesting idea, and it's also, but I wonder if Tarantino would if there's I don't know, and also like we're talking about like the emotional depth of some of these characters and everything, like or I'm wondering about like if there's much to grasp onto in the Stone version. It's like, I mean, I like some of the characters in Tarantino's other movies, but I'm like thinking I don't know if like I would have gotten that quite as much with his
not at that time.
No.
As somebody who just rewatched Kill Bill, that movie emotionally beat the living shit out of me for Volume 2, let me tell you.
Or even like Jackie Brown, which is like a couple years after this. Like I really care about the characters in that one. I feel like there's like a lot of attention to that. Yeah, it's.
I mean, yeah, people in Reservoir Dogs get shot, and I'm not just like, fuck, dude. I'm very emotional about. Like, I don't care. They're ciphers. They're not real people.
Right.
Best shit ever. But I mean, same with Pulp Fiction. Apparently, most of the dialogue is about the same as far as the scenes that were still in the original script versus the Oliver Stone. Which, yeah, if you're going to take shit from a Tarantino script, keep the dialogue. But and there's not that, which is surprisingly, is that the I Love Mallory scene is not in the Tarantino script. I was like, well, that alone, because that scene is fucking fantastic. Like, have you seen anything like that? Like, it's unbelievable.
So upsetting. Like, it's like, I mean, the casting in Dangerfield, where like he does have like those kind of like very like sort of bugged out eyes and everything. I'm not trying to be like mean and talking about his appearance and anything, but like it just like lends an extra edge to like the way he just sort of like leer, like, you know, like that dialogue just like, you know, rolls out. It's just like, it's so, and like when it cuts to like the black and white, and when it does break from that like, you know, sitcom aesthetic where it has like sort of like the really like extreme close-ups of his eyes in black and white, and like it's just like, it's so upsetting. And the way that like, you know, the stuff is like like these horrible truths are revealed with like laugh track dialogue. It's like, that is like the movie. You don't need the movie to be like saying like look at all this stuff that like, you know, society is like ignoring and everything. It's just like the movie is like using the editing and like, you know, sound design to like make those points itself and everything. Like it's where like, you know, the kid who's played by Oliver Stone's son, Sean Stone, says like,
oh, really?
so Mallory's my mom and everything, and then like while in the background like, you know, she's running off and everything, you're just thinking like, it's all this stuff that's like under the surface of like, you know, this home life that people are not paying attention to.
They burn Edie McClurg, and then the son comes out in kiss makeup, and Mallory goes, "You're free, Kevin."
And then there's like applause sound effects. It's yeah.
Any other scenes to talk about? I mean, the thing is that it's very similar to like Hard Boiled. If somebody's like, "Man, that hospital scene," you'd be like, "Wait, you mean the last hour of that movie?" Where it's just like, yeah, the prison scene.
It's a really impressively paced movie too, where like the first hour, it's again like pedal to the metal and everything, where it's like, you know, just them like, you know, going from place to place and like getting into like all these hairy situations and everything. And then And then like the prison thing, like the prison section is like the last hour, but like it builds the tension like all like quite well, even as like it's not like quite action or anything, like where there's like just so much going on where, you know, Tommy Lee Jones is giving like the layout of like to Tom Sizemore about like how they're going to get rid of Mickey and Mallory and everything. And then there's all these prisoners who are like, you know, trying to flank them, like, you know, with requests, and Tommy Lee Jones are like shoving them to the background and everything. And then like there's a big Wayne Gale interview, but then there's like, you know, the way they build some sort of like the breakout where it's like sort of like a low angle shot of like the security guard with the gun and like the billy club and everything. And then once the guy goes for him, it just like, it's like constant action and everything, and like music and like, you know, smoke and everything. And there's like real like textures of like, you know, the stuff like, you know, that green lit hallway and everything, sort of recalling the pharmacy and everything where there's like blood smeared on the walls. It's like all very well detailed. And yeah, like it also just like it's the kind of thing where you talk about like, it's like that must have been just a pain in the ass to shoot and edit.
Dude.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'd say the one time the movie sort of slows down in the first hour of the movie is the Russell Means scene. It's again the kind of thing where I'm thinking about like, you know, the depth of all these characters and sort of like what it's in service of. You know, Russell Means I think was like it was a big figure in terms of like, you know, activism for Indigenous people. So like, you know, he's like, you know, not like, you know, him appearing in this movie just, you know, is like, you know, a bit of like patina of like legitimacy to this movie and everything. But it's the kind of thing of like, is there much to his character beyond sort of like the point, him serving like a thematic point of like, oh man, like look what they're doing to them, and look how these guys have like lost their way, and like how they're not like, you know, and like how like what their sort of traumatic upbringing is just like, and how they're dealing with it is like, you know, damaging the world around them and everything. I don't know, like it is the kind of thing where I'm thinking, so like, you know, Means like, well, obviously agreed to be in this movie, but like how is he being used in the movie? It's something that like I wonder if I am, and I'm not the one to interrogate it, but I'm thinking, wonder how that performance, how that character is perceived by audiences now. It's interesting to think about. I mean, especially because, you know,
I don't think he's like playing the trope of like the magical native or anything like that. I think I do like that he tells the story about where he's just like, bitch, I'm a snake. Like he's just like a normal guy. He's not just, you know, some healer or anything. But it does tap into that a little bit and like gives him stuff that makes them go crazy, and then he shoots them, you know, that type of thing. But I don't know. I think it makes sense that he exists to be somebody that even Mallory is just like, we kill bad people or people that are in our way, and you killed somebody that's actually good. And I don't know if you saw this, Bryden, but when they got there, the word demon was superimposed on them.
Oh my goodness, I forgot. I did genuinely forget about that, but just like, yes, I noticed TV. It when it happened. Yeah.
The demon one, that's like, it looks cool, that's fine. And then when it says too much TV, I'm just like, guys, what are we doing?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I do love that scene, especially, I mean, it doesn't help that I love the scene beforehand whenever they run out of gas and like Mickey is like just losing it and like his face is morphine, that type of thing.
All those effects are really cool. Yeah.
They're so cool. I'm trying to think of other things. I mean, the thing is it's a very simple plot, and a lot of my favorite things are not like things are like this when this happened. Like anytime that the animation shows up where it's like Mickey's character like running down this hallway, it's so awesome. And like Mallory's character is like fucking like 500 feet tall with a massive mouth, like biting somebody's head off. Like, sorry, shit's cool. I don't know.
I was trying to think of like other movies that are sort of like the other movie that like, and I was checking like, the Letterboxd algorithm like said this movie is also similar too, but I had the thought while I was watching the movie, so it's my thought. The movie it made me think of was Devil's Rejects as well, which we covered in the past.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, I was thinking. I guess I was trying to think of like what movies are like this and have this kind of energy and are also about these kind of characters. And it's like that was a theatrical movie, but it's like a little, even that one I think is like a little more measured in its in some moments and everything, especially because I feel like that think does take the time to like actually like get to know its characters, even if it's about to brutally kill them like for like the next hour and everything. It's just interesting to think about, and also how like that movie does like seem to have an occasional sort of sympathetic view of its heinous characters. Yeah. And also, it's like, man, the lawmen too are also really bad too. They're sadists too. It's like, much to think about. Yeah,
I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
The last when I rewatched it, I just didn't have as much to marinate about as I did previously. I'm not sure why, but it's just the thing where it's just like it is like just like some of the most propulsive filmmaking I've ever seen, even if it does come at a cost of like barely kind of having a story and being kind of dumb. But
who's your favorite performance in this movie? Is it Juliette Lewis? Or...
Oh yeah, 1000%. If it's not her, it's Tommy Lee Jones.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's like my picks I think are Lewis and Robert Downey Jr. I love both those performances.
Yeah, where he's having like this dispute with like his mistress and his wife, and then while he starts killing people, he leaves his wife, and then he's like I'm coming home to you, and his mistress is like, no, you're not, and he's just like, well, great, I don't have my wife or my mistress. This is terrible.
Yeah, and then
so good.
The bit where he's like, I'm lying down, don't shoot, and then he starts shooting, and then like I love that Harrelson like takes guys like, you're not centered, just use your camera, like. Yeah.
Oh, did you get that when he said, here, shoot with this, and he gave him a camera? Do you get that? Yeah. Yeah, man. It's like that line in the Resident Evil movie that people think is the deepest shit ever. Fucking stupid as shit.
What's the line?
It's like, I forget which one it is. It's like they're teaching one character and they're teaching her how to shoot, and we're like, think of it like a camera, just point and shoot. And people think that's like the deepest shit ever. And I was like, no, it's Paul W.S. Anderson, man. The man who made...
I mean, it's just interesting too, thinking about you, like us, and like talking about Oliver Stone, where like, I think like two of his like, I think he's like made two movies that I think like are absolutely terrific. And then there's a lot of his stuff is like stuff I'm like, I like this, but like reservations, but I also kind of love what he's doing, like, in terms of like what he's trying to do here and everything, like this and Any Given Sunday. Would you say like, because where are you like, and you were doing like some Stone research that leading up to just like watching some of his movies, and you seem to have like a bit more of an ambivalent reaction to some of them. Would you say that is generally like where you fall with like Stone? Like, is there any other movie besides Natural Born Killers in his filmography that you like come close to liking as much as this?
Definitely JFK. Okay, but the thing is I've only seen that once, and I was in middle school. So. But it's not a movie that people are just like, ugh, JFK. Like, people still love it, so I'm going to assume that I still feel that way. It also is a movie that, like, if I remember correctly, it's doing the black and white cutaways, all this type of shit where it's, like, very much the most movie, which I remember when we covered Requiem for a Dream, it's just like, yeah, when movies are, like, we're going to use every fucking type of movie magic trick we can do, which... In the case of Requiem for a Dream, it's like also has a story to tell, and the style is the substance at certain points. Meanwhile, this movie is like, no, it's mostly just style, because if you break it down, it's just like, yeah, there's some serial killers that go to a prison and they break out, and it's like, well, surely there's more. It's like, no, not really. It's fine. And if that was told much more linear, normal, it would be whatever. It would be fine. Like, even with the same performances, you'd be like, oh, those are pretty performances and a pretty dull movie, but whatever. Yeah.
And if it was like doing it constantly, like talking at you and everything, talking at you in the dialogue, you'd be like, yeah, man, what else you got? And it's like, that's the thing with this movie, is the what else you got is like how they're presenting it is, it's like, yeah, okay, that's enough to compensate for it. Yeah, I hear what you mean. I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I got to finally watch it for this. That was fun.
Okay, but have you now seen all of the movies in that Oliver Stone 4-pack DVD set that you have?
It's no, because it's Natural Born Killers, Any Given Sunday, and then the other two I haven't seen are Alexander. Probably not going to watch that, and then Heaven and Earth, which I've heard. Is that's one I've heard is like
that's like his like least existent movie. Like it really.
Besides that, or Seizure, I guess. Like, well, yeah,
but like he made that like after he's known, and it's just like people are just like. Whatever.
It sounds interesting, especially because like I think I remember reading like a textbook in university where it's like talking about how like so many of the movies that America makes about the Vietnam War are about the soldiers, the American soldiers, as opposed to like the Vietnamese people, and that's like a high profile, filmmaker using like his clout to like make like a studio movie about the Vietnamese perspective. That's cool that he did that and everything. I've heard mixed things about the movie itself, but like the intent behind it and like the perspective is like interesting enough to make me think like, I'd at least like to see what this is and everything, just out of curiosity.
Oh, you haven't seen The Doors. You got to see The Doors.
No, that's another one I've heard is like that. I've heard Kilmer's great in it, but like
great.
The movie
so
it's
fucking boring.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, and it's some of these movies are also like they're really fucking long, and I need to like chunk out my entire day. Like when I watch,
there's a director's cut for The Doors also.
There you go. Yeah, like Any Given Sunday, I think that movie's really good. I think I even underrated it, but like I watched that like in lieu of the Super Bowl, like and I was like, great, that's like my entire night. I watched like Any Given Sunday because it's like nearly 3 hours long. Now
is there a director's cut for Any Given Sunday? There has to be.
It might have been the director's cut. It was long. It was like it was just like 240 something. It was long, but
wow.
Yeah, that's another movie. It's interesting. We were talking about movies that people sort of like that are like sort of these very critical texts and everything, but then people like sort of like sort of take them at their face value and everything. And it's like Any Given Sunday was one. I remember in like university, or not in university, in high school, there was a kid who was like a football player, and he like said like, Brian, watch this scene from Any Given Sunday. And like it was like
this is Al Pacino and coaching them, and yeah,
and then like I think like the scene, and it's like, and like the guy was like, I'm crying, Brian, and then like, and then I think like the next scene after that is like Pacino like says something to the effect of like Jamie Foxx like, yeah, it was all bullshit or whatever. Like, and it's like it's just kind of a funny thing. It can happen with movies sometimes. Yeah.
Right. That's one of those. That scene is like one of those like you roll up on YouTube and it has like 80 million views and it's like Al Pacino most inspirational speech in a movie ever type bullshit.
Yeah, I mean it's a Pacino kills it. But yeah.
But yeah, Stone not necessarily my guy, but it's the thing of like it's like almost my guy in numerous ways, and then in this movie, it's just like you got close enough, man. It's just like I just wish you were not so dumb. Yeah, because I wonder exactly of the 3 people that have writing credits on it, who was the one that is just like you gotta keep saying it's the damn TV. You gotta keep nailing that down. I don't think people are getting it.
Need more snake imagery.
Fuck no, you don't, dude. Ugh.
Because you got the ring, you got the drugstore, you got the talk about the demon, the snake, and you got the rattlesnakes outside Russell Means' place and everything. A little bit more.
No. Oh God. Yeah, no. Not a fan of snakes. I would rather hang out with Mickey and Mallory, some human snakes, than regular snakes. Let me tell you.
What's your favorite needle drop in the movie? Is it something I can never have? Or is it one of the other Nine Inch Nails songs? Or?
When that first gets needle dropped when they're having the argument after the gas runs out, that is like fucking fantastic. But then when A Warm Place needle drops when they reconvene in the prison is pretty fucking fantastic. Nice. And then Burn, that's like barely a needle drop. But yeah, that is weird that like that song was made for the movie, then the theatrical, and then I assumed like the first VHS of it, and then never again. And like I saw Nine Inch Nails on tour in August and they played it. It's like a huge fucking song for them, and it's just not in the movie until recently. But I mean the fucking God, there's another needle drop that I very much love and I can't think of it.
Was it the L7 one? I know you shouted that out earlier.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And with the 4K, I did recognize whenever she puts it in the jukebox, it is a 45 of L7 shitless. I don't know if that 45 actually does exist, but it's so fucking good. Yeah, so that is our intermission episode, and did want to reveal that our next miniseries is going to be another small one. It is going to be Geffen Films, which is from 86 to 96, right? Or is it like 82 to 96?
Might be a little bit earlier. It's like 80, because I think like Personal Best is one of the first movies they do, and that's like 82, so it's like 82 to 96. Yeah, because like it's like 96 they merge with MTV Films or something like that, with Beavis and Butthead and Joe's Apartment. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and are we doing every Geffen film? I think we
so,
are.
Except for like Beetlejuice, which is not a Geffen film, but like has like the Geffen film like logo. We're not doing that.
Which sure, cute, whatever. But yeah, so that means we are doing 15 movies.
I mean, do you want me to just like name the movies we have, or we're doing?
Yeah.
Risky Business, Interview with the Vampire, Lost in America, After Hours, Little Shop of Horrors, M. Butterfly, Beetlejuice, Defending Your Life, Personal Best, The Last Boy Scout, Men Don't Leave, The Butcher Boy, Joe's Apartment, Beavis and Butthead Do America, and Michael Collins.
Ending it with a banger. What if there was a teacher? Yeah, and then, I mean, we could basically show our hand that the Joe's Apartment and Beavis and Butthead will then transition to us doing MTV films.
Yes.
And
these alternate series titles for these miniseries respectively are Geffin' Around and I Want My MTV Films.
And obviously these are not actually mini majors, so it's not going to we'll work around that, but also it's just like, hey, we're going to die one day, who cares? But it's mini major adjacent.
Sort of in the sense of we focused on companies that like either went defunct or got absorbed started as one thing as sort of like their own thing and then got absorbed into like a larger product, larger sort of company.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing of, it was artistic and then the man took over. Maybe Oliver Stone should make a movie about that. I'm sure he can nail that. But yes, and then MTV Films, which is a much bigger slate, but I think that goes from 96 to 2016, 2018. I think Project Almanac is the last one.
Yeah, that was 2015. I think that's the last movie we're covering. Because then a lot of it is like it's still technically a thing. I think MTV Films, but like a lot of it is like straight to streaming stuff. Yeah. What are you most excited to watch for Geffen Films?
Probably either Lost in America or Personal Best, or Last Boy Scout, which I've never seen.
I'm curious to rewatch that one. Haven't seen it since I was a teenager. I've become much more of a Tony Scott guy as I've grown up. So yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I'm excited about M. Butterfly, but curious to Cronenberg doing that.
Yeah, I don't remember loving that one as when I did like the Cronenberg, I did a course on Cronenberg in university. I didn't love that one, but I'm curious to see how I'll view it again on rewatch, and also maybe give me an excuse to watch clear some of my gaps in stuff of his I haven't seen. Like I've never seen Lake and Lunch, so that'll be an excuse to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen M. Butterfly, Fast Company, or The Shrouds, and that's it.
The Shrouds, really good. I like it a lot.
Yeah. What about Fast Company? How's that?
Never seen that one. Yeah, I it's weird. I'm foggy on like a lot of the very early stuff that he did, like Crimes of the Future and Stereo and stuff like that. And then I've seen all his 80s stuff, seen some of his 90s stuff, and then it's like the new stuff I have not seen. Like I haven't seen Spider, Dangerous Method, Cosmopolis, Maps to the Stars, Crimes of the Future in 2022. I like a lot of those I just have not seen. So that's I'll be curious to see those.
I've seen almost all of his movies, and I like 5 of them.
But the 5 that are good, I imagine are like some of the best shit ever. Like
like History of Violence and Eastern Promises. My favorite is The Brood, Videodrome. I don't like Crash, and I want to rewatch it because maybe that's a me problem. I hope I don't rewatch it, and it's not a Possession thing where I was just like, nope, still don't care. I don't know what to tell you. Possession, just 2 people screaming at each other for 2 hours. Get out of here. What is this, a Xavier Dolan movie? I don't want to hear this.
Watch it. That's our Canadian.
No. That, man, they should make a new Canadian jail just to put him in it for putting Wonderwall as a needle drop. Get fucked, dude. But yes, that is our next miniseries is Geffen. I'm not going to say the podcast name. That's a Brighton thing. That's not a real thing. It might be on the podcast art, but it's not my fault.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description